This is the Plain English Real Estate Show with your host, Rowena Patton, a show that focuses on the real estate market in terms you can easily understand. Now here's the English girl in the mountains, the agent that I would trust, Rowena Patton.
I am thrilled today to introduce Matt Miller of Fairtrade Real Estate. Hello, Matt. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Tell us about your organization because it's fascinating.
Absolutely. So, founded Fairtrade in July of 2020 with a couple of very close friends. We'd always been in the investment and wholesale space, and we founded it as a two-sided marketplace. So, we have a group of sellers that we serve that need to sell to a local cash investor, and groups of local real estate investors, from the individuals to mom and pop and even institutional, who want a consistent inventory source for distressed assets that they're going to renovate to resell, renovate to hold.
Got it. So your key audiences, who are you working with? And you touched on it there for a second. So people that you actually get belly to belly with rather than the people in the big group. Who are you helping there?
Definitely. So we have three audiences. So it's the real estate agents that work for our company, the home sellers, and then the real estate investors. And the agents that work with our company work with a lot of local real estate operators as their local iBuyer, boots on the ground, being able to provide a very concise cash offer from an expert to perform for that seller. The real estate investors come to our marketplace to find access to exclusive inventory that's priced under market. And then we've got, say that again.
So you're not 19, which I love. I mean, you're at least in your 20s. I'm kidding, obviously. You're not 19 like me. And it's very interesting what's happening in the iBuyer marketplace now, and really what's just happening in real estate. Oh, Zillow's taking over. AI is going to take all our jobs. Something you said then fascinated me. You said, you didn't say belly to belly, but you said boots on the ground, right? So real estate really is finding those opportunities, and often in your business, finding somewhat distressed opportunities or people that just want out. Right? Talk about those opportunities for a minute and why it's not just online. How are you better than just online? Because there's plenty of iBuyers online.
Yeah, I'd say the reason you've seen so many iBuyers exit the space, including very good operators like Zillow, is that it's been incredibly local, it's incredibly difficult, and it's hard to do at scale without the local knowledge. So when I say boots on the ground, I mean, we have 6 offices in Southern California. Our agents are physically going out, walking these properties, understanding the scope of work, understanding the neighborhood, walking in the other competitive active properties, knowing what commercial development's going on, knowing what's going on with that local economy, whether they're bringing in or losing jobs, and able to make a very accurate offer to the seller that we're going to be able to perform on, so that we can bring in more inventory for these fix and flip investors we serve on our marketplace. And I think especially in today's market, not just the local knowledge, but the local presence. And this isn't trading paper like stocks. Real estate's more complex in a lot of ways. And I think that you really have to understand that it's a people business that's very personal and very local.
I think agents, there's a lot of real estate agents out there that haven't been really, well, they may have been involved with iBuyers where you fill in some form online and that's about it and don't know very much about it. And as the market flattens in almost every area of the country, so we're going to see 3.5, in my humble opinion, according to Clement Juglar from 1860, 3.5 to 5.5 years down now. We crested in most markets 2 years ago. So as that happens, and as other models are coming in, like Zillow, and now doing seller leads as well. And lots of, real estate teams are just happy to pay that 40. Well, they're not happy, but, it's like, great, we'll pay the 40% or the money up front, which I believe is going away in that model. Instead of looking at what I call higher hanging fruit, Every member on my team, I say, higher hanging fruit. Go find out how to deal with the more tricky properties, because that will keep you safe for life. When things are rocky and rolling and there's multiple offers and you put a sign out, a lockbox on the door, great. But go find out about the more tricky stuff. This morning, I was with a gentleman who's 59 years old, lost his mom 2 years ago, lost his brother a year ago, lots of siblings. The house was built by dad. I'm sure you've heard lots of these stories, typical. And, he cut all the wood for the wood burning stove last year, and he doesn't want to do it this winter to keep the house even saleable. Beautiful views. Some young family could come in there, or an investor or someone, and turn that around and turn it back into something habitable again, where some young family could get a start in life. And I think that's the bit we miss, that this is about people. Even if we're selling to an investor and they can make a buck, at the end of the day, you're giving somebody an opportunity for a roof over their head, or even an end buyer to come in and be able to do it themselves. What would you say to that, Matt? Because I know you're a boots on the ground person.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that philosophy, and also recognizing that like models like ours as the investor buyer, we provide like a interesting piece of liquidity to this market. It's because the houses that we buy, the sellers have equity and motivation, and it's physically distressed. Oftentimes it will not qualify. So that owner occupant buyer, that new family, they wouldn't be able to purchase that house with a conventional loan any. There has to be this segment of the market that brings it up to current standards, provides liquidity, and of course they're all running businesses. But at the end of the day, that unit turns into something that people are going to move into and live in. And, the neighborhood improves, all these things happen. I think one thing with investors that it's hard to appreciate is they create a ton of jobs, right? We're not just paying like local transfer taxes, city, state, escrow fees, title fees, but the construction aspect and the fact that it drives local labor force and it creates this improved product that then ends up going on the open market, relisting and selling to an owner occupant. The loan officer gets paid escrow, title, everybody. It's sort of a win-win, and it really does drive the economy, especially around the existing home sales, which is like the area we play in, right? Older homes, functionally obsolete, need a ton of work, aren't ready for the open market, and we come in and provide a solution that hopefully is great for the seller and the real estate agent that's coming in to represent them, and also ends up good for that local neighborhood after they have an updated home that can sell to a, family or whoever's going to be moving.
I love it. And it's so heartwarming nothing wrong with being a big box buyer, right? Nothing wrong with that. It's a business model. But it is heartwarming hearing somebody talk about the human aspect of it. And when we as agents or investors respect people in a whole different way. The guy to me said this morning, he's like, I can't believe you're here. I've been listening to you on the radio for 13 years. Most agents would have come up here and turned around on the potholey road. And I said, I'm here because this is my job. This is what I do. And, it's fulfilling for me to be able to help you through this. And just like you said, Matt, it creates so many, whether it's the dumpster guys bringing the dumpster to get all that furniture out, or the guy who mows the lawn each week, or all those other people that come in, the cleanup crew that come in. It creates so many jobs and a new home for somebody that's really been sitting there in disrepair for so long. And I know what a common story that is. So I love what you're doing, and I love that there's that heart in there, because I do believe where you've got that, the money flows. What about agents that aren't in Fairtrade, your brokerage? I know you work with agents outside of that. So there's the agent that goes out there like I did this morning, and they're just like, I have no clue what to do. What does that agent do? Who do they turn to?
Well, what I hope is that the agent understands that we are the local iBuyer that they can rely on. Normally, they'll have one or potentially two contacts at Fairtrade, and they can go into that appointment and have a local performing cash investor offer, not from a big company like Open Door that's very impersonal, you can't get decisions on, and they can go in for a solution with that seller that has, maybe they have two or three solutions for them.
Yes.
And one would be just, here's the simple as is cash price from this local investment company in California, Fairtrade Real Estate. And the agents, we love working with them. we're able to pay the commission if the seller's not interested in paying a commission, which, that's a big challenge, even in pivoting markets, for agents to demand the compensation that they deserve for providing services. But for us, it's very easy to add it to the math equation in the underwriting and make sure that their commission is secure, even if they're just representing us as the buyer's agent.
And so you're in California right now and you're thinking about going nationwide in the future, but you're basically in the Bay Area and Southern California. Is that correct?
Correct. So we have 6 offices in Southern California, one in the Bay Area that serves kind of Bay Area, Greater Sacramento Metro. It's been really important for us over the last 5 years to establish a very strong foundation, including in our proprietary technology and our private marketplace Clarity that we built, so that when the time's right to expand nationally, we are set up to be able to do it with the right systems and processes and support for both the agents and investors that we serve.
I love it. And Matt and I have talked about putting a program together to help you as agents understand what a non-functioning house is. I mean, obviously, you know what a non-functioning house is, but all the factors of that and what it looks like, so you can have more of that language to talk about with your sellers. And I really want you to think, as real estate agents, we all have these big databases. Some of you have Fellow, where you're getting hand raisers. 40 to 60% in most markets. So you build this big database, you've paid for pay-per-click leads 4 years, almost all of them are buyers. When they come in as buyers, 40 to 60% of them live elsewhere. If I looked on my database now in North Carolina, or I'm going Northern California now, Northern Carolina, I love it, North Carolina, I've got 60,000 people. Many of those people, especially through Fellow, I'll give Fellow a shout out here, are raising their hands and saying, I need to sell my house in California. So that's something that I could refer over to you or an real estate agent in California if it's a traditional resale, and help them with CPO or traditional CPO or a cash CPO. Or if it's distressed and they just want their money out, that's something where you could help. So agents, I want you to think about, you're handling referrals all the time in different areas. So it doesn't matter if you're in Georgia or New York or New Jersey or wherever you are, a big portion of your database actually is in California, especially with, the movement from California. Sorry, Matt, all you people are leaving, apparently.
We do see a huge opportunity with, especially around probate and inherited properties. Oftentimes, these sellers have their lives out of state already, and they are dealing with already a tragic situation that's tough, but they need local expertise. They may come into town for a day or two, or we've been able to handle it where they're doing everything through mobile notaries and still able to disposition the house while not disrupting their lives as they're serving as the administrator of an estate, which it's kind of a thankless job and really challenging. So we're definitely here to serve, whether it's local agents who are having people relocate out of state or properties that are inherited and you're not in California. We've experienced, situations like that all the time, and have the boots on the ground to be able to be the local buyer for those folks.
It's amazing. Thank you so much, Matt. Do you have any closing thoughts for everybody listening out there on the app?
I would say that buckle up. It's going to be a challenging market for the foreseeable future, and the professionals that have the most solutions and are the most creative and solution-oriented professionals are going to be the ones that are going to be able to continue to provide value to everybody in this marketplace.
Thank you so much. You nailed it right there. The ones who survive, and most CEOs of real estate companies are saying this, all the big ones too, you need solutions and you need to understand the other solutions. That's what I mean by higher hanging fruit. We've been in a marketplace where you could pluck the lower hanging fruit quite easily. Now you got to get your step ladder. You got to go out. You got to learn more. You got to learn about iBuyer programs. Where are they coming from? Are they individuals with boots on the ground? Are they, Homewood that isn't in all places now? Where are they? Where are they operating? What does my database look like? Where are my 5 feeder markets? Know that as an agent. Where are my people coming from? You can't say, oh, everybody just moves here and, moves in my market. Not true. So that's where someone like Matt could come in California. I love it, Matt. Thank you so much for your help there today. The platform's out there to elevate agents' knowledge about what's going on in the market and other solutions. So thank you. It was awesome.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm looking forward to working with any agents and recognizing that we're all going to have to get better and smarter.
That's what we're in it for. We're not going to be one of those people in the business. I'm not even going to say agent, but those people in the business who are not around anymore, because the smartest will win, like in any other industry. So it's time to buckle up and start picking those high hanging fruit and climb your ladder, right? We'll throw all the analogies at it. Something will work. Thanks, Matt.
Thanks again.
You've been listening to the Real Estate News radio show with my friend and the agent I trust, Rowena Patton. She's not only a best-selling author who's helped thousands sell their homes, including the tough ones, she also coaches agents across the country to elevate their game. Connect with Rowena at realestatenewsradio.com, and if you're thinking about selling, get your full market value offer at cashcpo.com.